What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you are watching TWA Motorsports, and today, just like the thumbnail says, the 54 is back. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some other stuff that's been going on in here. I'm going to show you some progress that I made on something, but it may, I don't know. We're going to talk about kind of my being overwhelmed when I walk out here. Guys, we have a packed house. There's stuff everywhere. That is why the 54 is on Go Jacks, is because I needed to shove it over to gain some room to work on the dually. There is a lot of stuff going on, and like I said, it's a little overwhelming, but we're gonna get to that. I'm gonna show you some progress that I've made, like I said, on one of these, but I started filming it, but then I've been back and forth, but we'll get to that. But first, yes, the 54 is back, guys. Look, I took this to a friend of mine to do the mechanic stuff on, which generally I don't do, right? I do all my own stuff, but I just didn't have the room. I didn't want to tear something else apart. I wanted to just pick it up running, okay? I bought this 54 a while back, and if you guys didn't see the video where I dropped it off at his place, it might be worth a watch because my winch cable broke. This thing went into the road, the highway. Luckily, it didn't get hit. Luckily, it didn't keep going because the lake was right behind that. It was really bad. So yeah, not the way I wanted to drop it off. Actually, I was a little nervous when I was picking it up. We drove it up on the trailer, but yes, it is running and driving now. So a little bit of backstory on this, guys. I love the 54 Chevrolet. I bought this thing because I thought it was running and driving. I wanted something that the whole family could hop in right now and we could drive while we were working on other projects. Okay, so I have a lot of trucks that run. I don't have any cool four-seaters in my opinion. I mean, the daily drivers are cool, but not to go to like a little cruise in or whatnot. So I wanted something kind of old school that we could drive now. And probably shouldn't have sold the patinaed 54 that I had before, but you know, live and learn. So I found this car, wanted to have something that ran and drove, and while it did run and drive, it was kind of rough. And it overheated, it was leaking transmission fluid, oil, the rear end was making noises, and yeah, I wanted to take it somewhere and pick it up finished. Well, for the most part, it's finished, right? So I took him the motor out of the 52 back there. You guys saw me pull that motor and transmission out, which was a good running and driving motor and transmission. Probably shouldn't have done that because I took another truck down when I did that, but I did. I bought a 6-liter for this, okay, a LS, and I decided, you know what? That truck is gonna be here forever, and I've always wanted to LS swap it. Let's use that 6-liter for it. Started tearing it down. That motor actually has some problems. It is currently at the machine shop getting fixed. You guys will see an assembly video on it coming up at some point, and we'll be test fitting and whatnot on that. So that's what's going on with the truck back there and kind of the backstory on the 54. But yes, the motor and transmission are in this thing and it is running and shifting. However, there's some other issues which I told him I would address here in the shop. And instead of him having it and it being in his way, guys, look, he is a general repair shop. He just does this stuff kind of on the side. It's not really his business model to do this. So yeah, he got the motor and transmission. I'm not even going to show you guys that. It's an ugly carbed 305 and turbo 350 trans. He did a great job getting it in there, running and driving, hooking everything up that was hooked up before. But the rear end, okay, this gentleman that I bought this thing from, the suspension setup on it is he did a bolt-in Mustang 2 front suspension, which I think we're going to have to tweak on some stuff as we get this thing more mobile. But in the back, the 54 has a closed drive shaft, okay? So how it works is there's like a torque tube and the drive shaft's in the center of it, okay? So there's no pivot, right? There's no U-joint in the back, like an open drive shaft. So a lot of people choose to put an S10 rear end in these things, which is what this guy did. Well, the S10 rear end is, first of all, it's kind of odd because the brake caliper here is right here, and on the other side it's like this. So there's only one caliper that you can buy for these as far as replacement. It's really odd that they're not both in the front or both in the back. But when you put an S10 rear end in one of these, if they're a disc brake rear end, they hit the frame, okay? Because the way the caliper is, it's too close to the frame and they hit. I had him cut off all the old bracketry that this person had done during this swap. It had some oddball like radius arms. If you guys go back and check out the video where I put the wheels off the 52 on it, you'll see what I'm talking about, but it was all bound up. So he cut all that junk off and we put a 2-inch lowering block in. Well, now guys, just driving it down the road, the frame is hitting the brake caliper. So I told him we would address that. We're going to reclock the brake, moving it further down so it's out of the way of the frame and we have clearance. And we're also going to be upgrading to a Corvette brake in the rear. At least that is the plan. That's what I'm going to be doing in the shop. As a matter of fact, I'm going to grab my light here and show you guys kind of what I'm talking about, because he got the original suspension set back up the way it's supposed to be. And hopefully you guys can see that over there. It's got a 2-inch lowering block in it now. And you can also see how close, look at that brake, see that bolt? It's hitting on the frame. So we're gonna have to clock that brake in order to make this all work like it's supposed to. I'd like to clean up the leaf springs when we do that. Guys, the bushing, I don't know if you noticed, but there is no bushing there. So we're gonna have to replace the bushings and the leaf pack. Like I said, we're gonna clean up the leaf pack, make it look a lot nicer, clean up the rear end. It looks like it came out of the Titanic. But everything is working, the pinion angle is correct. I'm happy with what I have. It's just not quite ready to go, all right? So we'll be addressing that soon. But hey, look, it's back in the shop. I also, while I had it on the trailer, I picked it up on the trailer because he's an hour and a half from me. I picked it up on the trailer because I didn't want to drive it home. The tires are dry rotted, and I don't like these wheels anyway. We're gonna do something different when it comes to the wheels. But I took it out to my painter on the way home, since it was on the trailer, and talked to him about maybe cutting and buffing on this thing a little bit to flatten out the paint. Because the paint's got a lot of orange peel left in it, like somebody didn't cut and buff it after they painted it. And the alignment of the doors, I don't know if you guys can see that, is kind of rough. So he's gonna address some of that as well. And I do have this trim piece, guys. It was loose and I didn't want it to fly off on the trailer. It's back behind. We'll be putting that on as well. But yeah, it's exciting to have this thing back. While I wish that it was ready to go and drive, guys, we're in winter right now. So I've got some time to get this thing back up and going. I know that the motor's solid. I know the transmission's solid. So we will work our way through the other stuff that we have to address. You guys will see that in a video, as well as the 52 back there. So aside from that, kind of some of the stuff that you see strung around the shop. And like I said, we're gonna get to, am I thinking about selling something because we're packed and we got a lot of stuff torn apart? Well, guys, look, the OBS truck back here is what I've considered selling. The goal here was to do a complete frame off on this thing. If I had more room, I think I would continue with that progress. And I'm not sure that I'm gonna sell it yet, but I will tell you guys, 2 nights ago, 100% I was gonna sell it. The next day I wasn't. The next day I was. So I'm all over the place about selling this thing. And kind of what it boils down to is, look, I'm working on all these regular cab trucks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if you count the dually, although that's Cohen, so I'm not really counting it. So we have 4 regular cab trucks. We all can't get in a regular cab truck and go somewhere, and so that sucks. I like to drive around as a family and have fun in these things, and while I do love regular cab trucks, and there's always gonna be 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe 4 out here, I don't wanna put a ton of time in one right now because I wanna get something that we can all fit in, okay? Once we've got one of those, then I'll be more apt to do something on this. So anyway, me and Cam came out here and helped me tear down the front of this so you guys can see. I don't know if you've noticed in some of the other videos, but yeah, a lot of the front is missing, right? So we started to pull this thing apart because we were gonna pull the frame, the body, everything off and take this to the painter. The bed's already finished. It just needs the cab and the front end painted. The plan was to paint the firewall, everything. I don't know. I'm still on the fence, guys, on this. If I do it, I talked to my painter about maybe painting it just like it sets, not worrying about the firewall and whatnot. So I'm back and forth. I wake up one day, I want to sell it. The next day I don't. I don't know. Kind of back and forth. So, like I said, guys, I don't need this many regular cab trucks right now. I still love the OBS platform and I really want to do one, but I want to do it correctly. I want to do it right. I don't want to cut corners. And so, yeah, there's just a bunch going on. So kind of the goals here are get the 54 going. Obviously, we're doing a bunch of stuff on Cohen's dually. We're gonna knock that out as quickly as possible. We got a lot of stuff, little videos and stuff I can make on it. I want to get the 52 running. The Trans Am, we're still waiting on the transmission. There's a lot of stuff going on out here. Cohen's got some parts coming. He wants to do a cam swap and a converter in his car. That's going to tie up some time and room and be kind of some cool videos to make. I'm kind of excited about that. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at out here. Guys, obviously the 55, love this thing. But I want to be able to drive that while we're working on this. I want to take my time here. This is a keeper. I love this thing. The 72, I really don't have a lot of plans for it right now. I want to put a different radio in it. I want to put some speakers in it because the radio and speakers are terrible in it. But as far as like messing with anything else, I don't want to mess with that. But I've got parts strung out everywhere for the dually, for all kinds of stuff. So hopefully you guys are excited about seeing the 54 back in the shop. I know a lot of people are truck people, and you're gonna be bummed to hear I'm kind of back and forth on the OBS, and I'm not 100% we're gonna sell it, at least as of today, but it could happen. That's for sure. But if you guys did enjoy this little update and seeing the 54 back, go down there in the comments and let me know about it. Of course, hit that thumbs up button if you like this video. While you're down there doing all of that, guys, if you're not subscribed, consider hitting that subscribe button, ringing that bell notification, because that'll notify you every time we put a new video up. And stay tuned to see what we work on next.